this webinar is being presented by Dr. Linda Cantu. She is the coordinator project lead for the Valued Youth Partnership Program. And take it away, Linda.
Yes, hi, welcome to this webinar session on the Valued Youth Partnership Program. We look forward to giving you information that might prove helpful for your programs and who you work with and work for. So I am Dr. Linda Cantu, and I've worked with the program for about 20 years, the Valued Youth Partnership Program, and with IDRA. So we did ask if you would please and would put your name and where you work and what you do in the chat. That would be nice, so we'd all know who we're working with. I'd be happy to let you too as well, if you choose to just say your name verbally to the group, what you wrote in the chat, just to share that with us. If Jerry, you'd like to do that?
Sure. I'm Jerry Chaffee. I'm from Sarasota, Florida. I work with school districts to help them engage mainly the Hispanic population, English learners, newcomers, because there's a lot of work to be done, especially in Florida, where I'm from. And this year, I had the honor to help found and open Dreamers Academy, which is the first dual language public charter school in the Suncoast. And it's just been amazing to see so many gringuitos, learning alongside with all our emergent bilinguals, and families are happy, kids are happy. So it's been really a blessing. We have to have this in every district.
Okay, great.
No doubt.
Yes, well, thank you. Stephanie?
Sorry, I so missed the beginning. Can you hear me?
Oh, yes, we can hear you fine. Just your name and who you work for and what city you're in.
Sure. I'm Stephanie Harm, the Family Engagement Coordinator with the Project Aware grant in La Crosse, Wisconsin, and I work for the La Crosse School District.
Wonderful. Nice to meet you. Jasmine?
Hello, my name is Jasmine, pronouns she, her, hers. I'm Director of Organizing Strategy with an organization called Leadership for Educational Equity.
Great. And what city are you from?
I'm in the Dallas-Fort Worth area in Texas.
Thank you. And Karen, I think you're the one that said you couldn't communicate with us through voice.
Yeah, she doesn't have a mic, so she put it in chat.
Okay. Liz, would you like to introduce yourself? Liz Delia?
Hi, I'm Dr. Liz Pignon, and I work in the DFW area, and I'm excited to be here.
Great, thank you.
What does that mean? I don't know what DFW means.
Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Okay.
In Texas. I'm there. I am an education associate at IDRA. Nice to meet you.
Yes, she works with us. So Lema, would you like to introduce yourself? No, okay. Yes. Christy Goodman.
Hi, Christy Goodman. I'm a Director of Communications at IDRA and do a lot of support work for the Valued Youth Partnership Program. Very excited about it.
And the last person, of course, is Michelle, who's running our program here, our video.
Hi, everyone. My name is Michelle Martinez Vega. My pronouns are she and her, and I am the Chief Technology Strategist at IDRA, and I am happy to be here and to see all of your fine faces.
That's great. Sulema, did you? Okay, she's not going to. Okay. Well, Sulema, we can't hear you, but we're going to go ahead and start the presentation. So, welcome everybody to this Valued Youth Partnership webinar. And we're glad you're able to participate. We may be having more people join us later, but we're going to go ahead and get started. And so this is about how the IDRA Valued Youth Partnership works, the program we have. So the program comes from an organization, is part of the, developed by an organization, IDRA, Intercultural Development Research Association, a private nonprofit educational organization. And the mission that IDRA, that I have, that those of us who work at IDRA, is to achieve equal educational opportunities for all children by developing strong public schools that serve all students and allow students to access college and succeed in college. So we're looking to do those things. So IDRA, and you'll see on the four corners on the side, we do research in educational areas and cultural areas and things like that. We work on policies, issues that work with schools and rules and laws that support educational opportunities. We have educational practice, which the educational practice is we work with school districts and provide professional development to those school districts, and family and community engagement. We find many opportunities to make sure that the schools we're working with and the kids we're working with, that their families feel involved in the schools and the work that their children are doing. Michelle? I'm gonna have to move my, so the IDRA Valued Youth Partnership, which again, I want to say was developed from the Intercultural Development Research Association. The program has high expectations and high motivation. So we believe in giving every student an opportunity to be motivated and expect high expectations. We expect academic success. Our program works to help students become academically successful. As part of the program, there's financial assistance. So the students, the tutors that participate in the program receive a stipend for support for being tutors in the program. And the students we want the kids to feel like they belong and that they're contributing. So the program creates that environment. We want inclusion. So many of our kids in our schools, some of them are extremely active in extracurricular or other activities on the campus, but we always have a group who may not be as involved. And so what we believe is inclusion, finding a way to make sure the kids are part of this program, are part of their schools and what they're doing. And we give them responsibility. So they're developing their responsible ways to give back to their school and campuses. And on the bottom it says 98, I'm going to go over this a little bit more later, but 98% of our kids that participated in our program, that are still participating in our program, stay in school. Higher attendance rates, our kids have attendance, our tutors start attending school more actively, and so there's higher attendance. Lower disciplinary rates as they become tutors in the program. They don't get in as many problems that they have. Stronger academic skills. They start building their reading skills, their math skills. And then higher self-esteem. Because of all that, they start feeling better about themselves. Thank you, Michelle. So again, I want to say that the best part of our program and the way we feel about it is that 98% of our kids experience success. We know that they're successful. They move on to the next grade. Their grades improve. So we have a 98% success rate. And Stephanie, I saw your chat. I hope you don't disappear. And just so you'll know, all the photos that you're seeing in our videos, these are all of our kids. The older ones are our tutors in different campuses, and those are the young kids that they're tutoring. So just so you know. So we've served about 35,000 plus students and helped them stay in school by being part of our program. And then we've served about 725,000 children, families, and educators. We've been a program for over 35 years. So IDRA Valued Youth Partnership has received many accolades during our 35 plus years. And we just wanted to share a few of the organizations that have recognized us for the work we do is working with the kids as tutors. So we've been recognized by the White House. We were invited to the White House and they gave a recognition to the program for working with youth in schools, for working with students who are in at-risk situations. The American Graduate Program has recognized us, Show Me the Evidence, National Community and Service, and International Youth Foundation. In addition, on the side, I'm not going to read all of them, but the Center for Corporate Community, National Clearinghouse for Bilingual Education, they have recognized us, featured in educational models and books, American Council on Education, Committee for Economic Development. So over the years, and you'll get a copy of this so you'll be able to see, but we've been recognized by a major number of groups because of the success of our tutors moving forward. I love watching these pictures because these are our children who, as you sit and watch them in these photos, that's a tutor, middle or high school student working with a younger student, an elementary student. And the students that were selected for the program were students who were in at-risk situations, but they start developing a skill. So what is Valued Youth Partnership? It's a cross-age tutoring program. Middle and high school students who are considered to be at risk tutor elementary students. So in many programs, and I think they're good programs as well, the most successful students on a district or campus, they're the ones who get these opportunities for tutoring or for being role models for students. In our program, we've reached out to those kids who are in at-risk situation. We're giving them the opportunity to become role models and mentor and tutor younger children, and they do it in a beautiful and successful way. At-risk students supported as valued youth, making a contribution. That's who our tutors are in the program. And we're going to show you a brief video of our kids tutoring. And so this will give you an opportunity to see what our kids are doing.
Leader.
Mentor.
Role model.
College bound.
Every child, no matter the background, ethnicity, native language, or zip code, has the capacity to excel in school.
But low expectations and lack of support can be some of the most formidable barriers to success.
When students are labeled at risk, they are viewed and treated differently. But when schools place students in positions of responsibility and give them the support needed to succeed, they not only meet expectations, but often go beyond what was thought possible.
Every time I come into the classroom, the kids are always excited to see me. It makes me feel good. It shows me that I'm doing a good job. I think it's going to make me feel more mature, and I can have more self-control.
Fortunately, IDRA works with schools to embrace an asset-driven philosophy that empowers all students to be successful through a cross-age tutoring program called the Valued Youth Partnership.
The internationally recognized Valued Youth Partnership has kept 35,000 students in school and positively impacted the lives of 750,000 children, families, and educators over the past 35 years.
Join the Valued Youth Partnership, committed to valuing all youth, because when you do, every child can go beyond.
IDRA Valued Youth Partnership.
Stay on to go beyond.
Thank you, Michelle. And of course, those are our students, our tutors. You've got to see them being tutors in the classroom. And we're going to talk a little bit about how that happens during the school day. So this is one of the principals that was at our high school, at one of our high schools. And he got to visit with tutors in the classroom. He would go and tour to see what the kids were doing. And one of the comments is that he heard a student, that he commented after watching the tutors, is you can see the excitement in their faces when their tutee spells a word right or gets a math problem right. That's a different type of success and fulfillment, because it shows them I helped someone else achieve success. And so Mr. Hernandez, the principal at that school, was so proud to be able to go and visit the tutors and kids from his school and see how they were being successful. So I'm going to talk a little bit about this, but I want to stop for just a minute. Does Sulema or anybody else want to comment before I keep going forward? Okay. Does anybody have a question before I continue going forward? Okay. So the Valued Youth Partnership Program is a program that has components to it that are very organized and have been in place for a very long time. And as you watch the video, the other thing I wanted to say, it says an internationally recognized program. IDRA Valued Youth Partnership has worked in states across the United States. And we've had programs in, I don't know how many states in the United States and how many schools, but many. But additionally, the program was implemented in Brazil. It was implemented in England. So the program was a program that was expanded and was able to be successful in many different venues. So that's why it said internationally. But there's 5 components to this program, just so you know. And the first 5 instructional strategy components is that it's a cross-age tutoring program. So what happens is a school, a campus, a middle or a high school decides that they want to implement the Valued Youth Program at their school to serve some of the students that are struggling in school. And so they bring the program to their school, and they create a class called Valued Youth Partnership. It's an elective class in their schools. And so they create the elective class, and the kids are in that class for the entire year. So it's a cross-age tutoring program where we get the older students, middle and high school, and they tutor a minimum of 4 hours a week for one class period a day, the period that they have. They'll go into an elementary campus. Either we've worked in K-12 campuses, K-8 campuses, and sometimes the middle school or high school students have to be bused or walk over to the elementary, but they go tutor in that elementary school. Then we have one day a week when the students are going to meet, and the tutors meet with the secondary teacher, whoever their classroom teacher was. So they meet with their secondary teacher, and once a week they do activities in the classroom that help them become tutors, help them do better in tutoring. So the teacher gives them advice and information as to how tutoring takes place, how to implement that, how to do well with the students. But in addition, we have a tutor workbook, and the teacher works with the students, also the tutors, to learn more about themselves. So they do activities which ask them to research within themselves what they're doing and consider looking at careers, things like that. So they we have a workbook where they meet on Fridays and do both of those things. On the educational, we encourage all of the programs to have the kids take a minimum of 3 educational field trips a year. So when we say educational field trips to colleges and universities, have them walk and tour a college or university. Sometimes if they're middle schoolers, they tour them through a high school, or they will find organizations who will let them tour their businesses to find out about what kind of work or careers they could move forward in. We also have mentors and role models. We tell them that the schools that they should have at least 5 mentors or role models come and talk to them at their schools. So again, they'll find people who are teachers, who are, it could be a teacher coming in to talk to them. It could be a doctor, a lawyer. It could be anyone who can come and talk to them about what is in the future for them. And then student recognition throughout the year, that they get recognized for the work they're doing. At minimum, at least 3 or 4 times a year. So at the beginning as they get started, at the mid-year, at the end of the year, but they get opportunities to be recognized as tutors. And then on the bottom, we have 5 support strategies. The curriculum, as I told you, we have a tutor workbook that's part of the program, and other materials that we share with the districts and the campuses to help them implement the program. Coordination, we're going to talk a little bit more about this. I'm just going to go briefly through it, but the coordination, there's going to be a team that's working together on the campus and the district to keep the program moving. Staff enrichment, as part of our program, we also go into the campus and help do professional development with the teachers in various areas. Parental involvement, a minimum of 3 to 4 parent meetings a year, so that the parents know what's going on with the program. Right from the beginning, we introduce the program to them. Then again at mid-year, we show them recognition of how the students are doing, things like that. Parent involvement, again, that's part of, I think I was on parent involvement. And parent involvement, we try to find ways to get the parents involved, but so that they can ask questions and learn about the program. And then we have a very substantive evaluation that takes place throughout the year. We do collect grades, we do collect information from the tutors and the teachers as to how the students are progressing. So at the end of the year, there is an evaluation provided to the district and the campus. Michelle, thank you. So again, here's the 5 instructional strategies. I'm going to kind of repeat what I said, but I just want to go over cross-age tutoring. So you set up a class during the school year called Valued Youth Partnership. The students will be part of that class. They will get an elective credit for being in that class. So 4 days a week, they're going to go tutor. So 4 hours weekly. They get an hourly stipend and academic credit. So we want to say that we encourage and ask the districts and campuses to provide the tutors that are participating with an hourly stipend. In most cases, it's minimum wage, but it's not always minimum wage. It can be $5 an hour. Sometimes it's a gift card, but basically we suggest that they do a stipend and pay a stipend for the hours that they're tutoring. So not for their 5th day in class, but the days that they go tutor, they're going to get an hourly stipend. 4 grade level difference between the tutor and tutees. So we encourage, if you're doing middle school, 6th grade, or 7th or 8th, we kind of recommend 8th grade, but we'll talk through that when we meet with the school, that 7th and 8th graders are selected. And then 4 grade levels below, that's who they should tutor, because we want to be sure that they are able to feel confident tutoring younger children. So if they were a student in the middle school or even high school who might have had some reading or math difficulties, we want them to feel very confident when they're tutoring of reading and math. But I want you to know that all of us who have worked with the program, our experience has been that as the tutors start tutoring reading and math, their own reading and math skills grow. So they start reading books to younger children and their level of reading increases. They start doing math activities, their math skills increase. So that's an opportunity for them to develop their skills as well as helping the younger kids learn learn their numbers and things like that. But I do want to say, as someone in the one of the videos said, that when the kids see their younger tutees learning and they start seeing them count and read better, they start feeling better themselves, and they know they're doing a big support to those kids. They start going, they see them read and they know that they were helpful in that. Supervision by committed receiving teachers. So the kids go to an elementary campus, they go into an elementary classroom, a minimum of 1 to 2 tutors per classroom, and each tutor will tutor a minimum of 3 students. I mean, a maximum of 3 students. So 1 to 3 students per tutor in a classroom. So we ask that they not be beyond that, because we want them to give them a chance to interact and work very committedly with those tutees, those smaller children. But we also want them to commit to the same tutees all year long. So they don't keep changing the tutees in and out. They're going to identify 3 kids in the elementary campus that they think really need help. It could be because they're second language learners. It could just be because they didn't get enough reading and skills like that. But that those 3 committed to that 1 tutor all year, and then we'll be seeing the progress of both groups of students together. Supervision and so the receiving teacher is supervising them. When they're tutoring what the teacher is teaching. We're not taking materials into the classroom to help them tutor. Sometimes we take an extra book that they can read or things like that. But the tutor goes in, watches what the teacher is teaching, and then as that teacher's teaching that lesson, then she passes that information, the work that she wants them to do, and the tutor then helps those younger children, tutees, complete the work that the receiving teacher, elementary teacher, asked them to do. So we're supporting the elementary teacher in the work. But as the tutor listens to that teacher present, they're on a learning curve also. Planned instructional tasks within the classroom, and that's what I just mentioned. We're having the tutors do what the teachers are trying to teach the young children, and now they have tutors to help them, the tutees, finish their work and complete the assignments. So that's a great opportunity for them. Yes, ma'am. So,
I was just going to add, Dr. Cantu, that what you were talking about about them learning certain reading or math skills because they're helping their kids, it's surprisingly because the tutors, the secondary tutors, they actually ask teachers to help them learn that lesson. So when they go into the rooms with their tutees, they will know what they're supposed to be helping them with. And that is like something that I know we get surprised all the time, is that these at-risk students are turning around and asking the teacher, can you teach me this? Because I need to help my tutee.
So thank you, Salema, Ms. Sanchez. Dr. Sanchez, yes, so that's a great point, that the tutors start asking for help in terms of how they can help their younger tutees. And both the receiving teacher and their teacher coordinator help them do that. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Classes for tutors, as I mentioned in an earlier part that I talked about, 1 day a week, the tutors are going to meet in the classroom with their teacher coordinator, the teacher who is their teacher in the middle or high school. It's going to be a one-day weekly session, and we have activities. We have a workbook and activities for the teachers to do with those students. But just as Ms. Sanchez said, those teachers will also teach them maybe how to teach a lesson, things like that, how they can better work with the elementary kids on how to tutoring something. And that's actually some of the lessons that are in there that are asking them how can they be helped to be supportive in that way. They do planning for tutoring, so that's the part of it. They plan for how they're going to tutor, how to work with it. But again, their biggest support is that they're helping the elementary teacher do well in class. But we do also on occasion have materials or work or books that the kids could read to the to their tutees. And it's student-centered instruction. The tutors are set aside, and the tutor workbooks also have lessons on self-esteem and going to college and all of those kinds of things as well. So it's student-centered instruction and helping them plan for tutoring and the weekly sessions. So they learn a lot about what they're supposed to be doing in those sessions. Educational field trips, as I mentioned, we encourage a minimum of 3 field trips a year, and that they be educational opportunities for the students. How to, like, learning about going to college. Many of our kids take field trips to college, and then we have a group of kids that sometimes don't get that opportunity. But in Valued Youth Partnership, we always encourage the campuses to take the kids to a college campus to learn about that, to find organizations that want to teach them about curriculum, about their job, on types of organizations that will let the kids walk through and learn about the job on a particular business. So it's providing learning opportunities for the kids. And then, and this should be at no expense or minimum expense for the tutors. Part of the program is there's going to be field trips, and the school will provide those field trips. And if they have to have a lunch for them during that field trip. Okay, thank you. Anybody want to mention anything on that, Sulema, or anything? Okay, next. Mentors and role models. So 5 role models visit the campus and go in and talk to the students. And again, we often ask them to let one of the teachers from their campus or another campus come and talk to the kids about being a teacher or being a principal or being a counselor. So those would be people who come and talk to our tutors about the kind of career that they had and where they came from. And many of our speakers come and do that. You'd find out that they said, I went to this school when I was a kid also, and I didn't know I was going to be a teacher, but they're actually from the campus. There are parents who have careers, own businesses, work in businesses. They could become speakers to the tutors, and community leaders. So let's invite community leaders to come and talk to our kids, whether it's a doctor, a lawyer, I'm trying to think, the mayor, someone who works, some of you were talking about the work you do for kids, community leaders who can come back and share their experiences with the tutors. And I want to say one of our community leaders, we invited city councilman from San Antonio one time to come and talk to the kids. And the truth was that the city councilman had actually been a tutee as well in that program. And now he was a city councilman, so he came back and talked to the students about being a city councilman and how he learned to be a better student when he was there. Okay. Student recognition. Again, tutors, one of the things, we have a group of kids who are considered to be at risk. In being at risk, they're often the kind of students who never get recognized or haven't been recognized as much as they should. We have a group of kids And again, I want to say all of those kids should be recognized for their successes on campus, but we want all kids to have that opportunity to be successful on campus. So that these kids get student recognition when they're giving out opportunities to recognize students, that the tutors are valued throughout the year so that they get a certificate for the time they're tutoring. And that we have an end of year event that celebrates the fact that they've been a tutor and contributed to the campus. We ask each campus of all your up to 25 students that were in your program, as hard as it is, to select one of them as tutor of the year. And so in some cases, we have as many as 2 selected, 1 male and 1 female. And then publicity and visibility, that they come out in the school newspaper, that they come out in PowerPoints and presentations made about the program. So a lot of opportunities to recognize them, and even at parent events. But at the end of the year, during the year, usually when they get stipends, they get them 3 times a year. So they get together, bring the parents in, they give out their first check for being a tutor and a certificate for the work they've done. So those are opportunities to be recognized. Okay. And then we have 5 support strategies. Does anybody have anything even in the chat that they're asking about or anything like that? Okay, so the curriculum. What is part of the curriculum that we offer? Sharpens literacy skills. So again, the tutor workbooks that we have, the additional materials that sometimes we share, those are our opportunities, our materials help them sharpen their literacy skills or learning skills. It promotes tutoring skills. So we, in our workbooks and our tutor workbooks, that show them how to become better tutors. So it promotes their tutoring skills and enhances concept of self. So some of the activities in the workbook are to help them reflect on their own, who they are and what they're doing and the successes they're having, so that they start in becoming better in that aspect. And Christy, you mentioned something in a chat regarding that. Do you want to say something?
Well, that piece, there's 3 sections in the tutor workbook, and there's an accompanying teacher guide that goes through the details of using the lessons. And one section is about the tutoring skills. The second is about self-esteem. And the third one is preparing for college, because so many of these students don't expect to be able to be in college. They may have had that dream at one point, but they don't expect that's in their path anymore. And so, especially when we have a leadership day event that's on a college campus, they get to see themselves there. They get to be there and walk the campus. And it's just another way of showing how we see a great future for them and that they are capable, and it just reinforces that. But the workbook, and there's also the 2T kit. So there's a kit that has, things that they might use with the 2Ts that are in the workbook. So anyway, so those 3 materials are included.
Yeah, great. Thank you. Michelle? And the coordination. So one of the things I want to say, as part of the coordination, we have in the campus, we create a team of people, teachers and administrators, who are going to work in support of the students. So as part of the team, it's called the implementation team. We have 1 district representative who's part of the team. We have the elementary principal and the secondary principal. They're part of the team. The teacher coordinator. We get a parent liaison, someone who's going to help support that, and a counselor. And they all become part of the team that is going to help move the entire program forward. So we do professional development with them, make sure we go over the program. We meet with them 3 times a year to introduce the program, mid-year, to discuss how the program's going, changes that might need to be made, improvements. And then at the end of the year, to talk about how we can improve the program for the upcoming year. So we have a team approach. It's not just that one teacher working with them, but an entire team working with them. School district agreement and support. So the school district agrees to support the program and implement the program successfully. Planned and structured design. So if you've heard what we've said, the entire program is in an organized way. There's classes for tutors. There's 4 days of tutoring a week. There's a class that the students belong to called Valued Youth Partnership, where they receive an elective credit, things like that. So there's an organized piece of the program that comes together. And we have the periodic meetings. Again, I want to say at the beginning of the year, mid-year, and at the end of the year, we meet with the entire team to discuss that. But in addition, we, as part of our program, we go and do presentations to the entire campus. So we want the entire campus to know what the program is about. So we introduce it at one of the campus teacher meetings, so that everybody gets to understand what the program it is and what it's about. So that's what our coordination is for the program. But I also want to say, and I think I said it in an earlier statement also, that we do professional development for the campus. So if the campus feels that we could support them in some way in terms of some professional development to improve their attitude for the kids, or some kind of structure, some kind of behavioral improvement for the kids, but to give the teachers an opportunity to learn about helping those kids become better students. Staff enrichment, and so that's what I was talking about again, awareness. We have those meetings so that the entire campus knows what the program is about. So we go and present that to the secondary campus, all of them. We also do it, we've also made presentations to the elementary campuses so that they know why these kids are coming to their classes to tutors. So we have that implementation team I talked to you about, a district level representative, the two principals or one of their representatives, and a counselor, a parental involvement person. So community and parents are involved, and other school personnel. That's part of our staff enrichment. So that's part of what we do with the program. Anybody have a comment about that? Sulema or Christy? Okay. So family engagement, and this is something we know more than anything, that our parents need to become more aware and more encouraged in a positive way to know what their kids are doing in school. So we meet with the parents a minimum of 3 times a year to tell them what the program is about, to tell them what their kids are doing, and then mid-year to let them participate in these opportunities where the students are being recognized. And then we also do presentations or professional development with the teachers, with the parents as well, to help them be aware of what kind of support their kids need and how they can be supportive to their kids. And what we found with parents is mid-year or so, parents start letting us know that they've seen a difference in their kids, that they seem to be doing better. They're even helping their little brothers and sisters at home with their homework, things like that. So Sulema, would you like to add to that?
Yeah, when the parents actually are invited to talk about what they have observed and what they have seen, many of them even cry because they say, I didn't think that my son or my daughter would ever be to that, because all they're giving me is grief all these years. But the parents then start looking at the sons and their daughters in a different lens. And then they start changing their attitude toward the student and saying, you know, I know he's smart, and now he showed me, and I can see where he's now studying more and being more partial to the educational piece, because before she says, I wrote him off. But the parents do change. They see their children in a positive lens, and that itself lends to the student making more an effort to stay in school and to do better.
I think I'll add to that what Sulema just said. It's definitely the parent engagement, and the parent meetings are an opportunity for the students to have a positive meeting with the teacher and with the school versus meetings they may have had previously where the student was being reprimanded or being talked about because of some kind of behavioral problem. So, what Linda, just to echo what Linda and Sulema said, these parent meetings are opportunities for positivity, and the parents and the students react very well to the meetings, and it gives the parent a different vision of who their student is and who their student can be.
Very good. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Sulema. Very important part of the family engagement that takes place. Okay. And then we talked a little bit about the evaluation. I mentioned the evaluation. We have a quantitative and qualitative research, but that is based on the quantitative information we collect from the parents and the students themselves about how they're feeling about the program, how the students have improved. So we collect that information to let them share how they think the students have improved, and the students themselves tell us how they think they've improved. And then the qualitative is thank you, Christy. Qualitative research is that we collect their grades, their participation in school, absenteeism, behavioral. We collect that pre and post. So at the end of the year, we can show, and as we mentioned to you before, we've had an extremely successful growth in how kids do. We monitor the tutors, we give periodic feedback, and again, we collect pre-post test scores so grades and behavior and all of that pre-post, so that we can give you an evaluation at the end of the year. And this helps with decision making for the upcoming year. Next. And anytime any of the staff wants to talk, just raise your hand. So the program has a powerful impact on the kids, as we've mentioned. And I love these pictures of the tutors working with their tutees, because it is so impactful and true about how we watch them work with those kids. So they develop a positive self-concept about themselves. They have a greater commitment to succeed and stay in school, and an expanded vision of life. They start seeing that they can and will be able to go to college. They can and will be able to go into different careers. So they start, as part of what they've learned in the program, that is what they learn about the program. And then I just want to make two little quick comments, because there's so many that we can make. When the tutors walk into a classroom and they work with 3 tutees, one of the things that often happens is that other children in the classroom say, why can't she or he work with me? I want a tutor too. So that starts to build their relationship. We've had kids who have told us that they went to the grocery store and that a little kid started yelling and running toward him. That's my tutor. That's my tutor. He helps me. So they start developing these really great positive self-concept because of that. Miss Sulema, yes.
Oh, I was going to say that also, including in your comment, is that the tutors tell us that their tutees start getting after them, and they'll say, why didn't you come in to help me yesterday? I didn't have anybody to help me. And so the tutors start saying, well, no, they're going to get after me, so I've got to be at school, I've got to help them. So the tables turn, because it's not the teacher, it's not the staff, it's the little ones that are saying, I need you, why didn't you come in?
And that is so true. We hear that so much from the tutors who tell us their tutees were telling us, why didn't you come? I needed you. I needed your help. And that is such a blessing for the tutor. But I want to say too, that elementary teacher, when they're not there, when they come in, they'll go, oh my God, they missed you so much. All the kids wanted to know where you were. So they start getting this really positive self-concept about themselves and how they're helping others. Okay, next. The impact on the tutees. Well, we found that tutees start developing skills because now they have someone to sit with them after the teacher has given them the lesson. Now they have someone to sit there and help them complete the lessons that they're working on. The tutees are getting personal attention, as you just heard what Sulema mentioned about the tutees wanting to know, why didn't you show up? They were waiting for you. And so the tutees start getting a much better sense of someone cares about what's happening to me. So they form positive and strong ties. The tutor and the tutee start having strong ties with each other. And that's very important to the tutor and the tutee, that they build those relationships with them. Any other comments about that, Sulema? I know we only have like 5 minutes left.
I'll make one last one. We find that the tutors, when they receive their stipend, they start buying at the end of the year a little gift for their little tutees, which they don't have to do, but it comes from them. They want to give back to the tutor because it's like they just have a different perspective of school, different perspective of who they are, and a different perspective of what they can be. So in a way, they bring these little gifts to the little tutees to thank them.
Mm-hmm. And actually, it often works in reverse. The tutees write little notes to their tutors for Valentine's Day or Christmas, just thanking them for what they do, but just a little Christmas card or things like that. And that helps them develop a good positive tie between themselves. Michelle? The impact on the families, renewed family pride, economic support. And we say economic support, the tutors are receiving a stipend, but often they share that stipend with their families because they needed to get a little more food for the house. So the student will share some of that money they get for that purpose. So it's helping the whole family do a little bit better. Oftentimes we found kids said, I bought these new shoes with the money that I got. So that helps them. Improve communication between the family, the tutor, and the school. Now the parents start having a better relationship with the school and the school with the parents because they start seeing how well everything is doing and improving. And family and interaction engagement. And as we mentioned, a lot of those tutors tell us that they're now helping their younger brothers and sisters at home. And that makes their parents very proud. Michelle, thank you. Impact on the schools. Well, the most important thing, our kids are staying in school. Decreased dropout rate. They stayed the entire year. They didn't leave. Reduced disciplinary measures. So many of these kids have told us when the tutees aren't listening to them, they'll tell us, I tried to get him to listen, but he wouldn't listen to me. And then the tutors start recognizing that's the way I treat my teacher sometimes, so I don't do that anymore. So their disciplinary measures change and increased valuing of students, increased attendance. The kids start showing up for school because they get the stipend and they know that if they miss a school in their first check they realize what, that student got more money than me. Yes, because he showed up every day. They start showing up. But not just that, but because of what Sulema said, where the tutees start saying, you were supposed to come and help me and you didn't show up. So there's improved communication across schools. The secondary campus and the elementary campus start working more closely together because tutors are coming to the tutees campuses. Yeah, I know we're just down to a few minutes, so We've talked a little bit about this, but we have a measurement that shows that I'm not going to go through all of them, but 61% of VYP tutors improve sense of self-concept. So this is the Hemingway helps us learn again on the quantitative side how much better students are doing. They're more productive in school. Their reading test scores improve, math test scores improve. So so we've been a program for 35 years. These are the connections you have to our program. Does anybody have questions? I'm sorry, I wanted to just, if anybody, you can put it on the chat, or you can now.
Yeah, I have a couple of questions. Thank you. This is a wonderful presentation. I think the biggest barrier to get something like this implemented would be these are at-risk students, the distance, our district doesn't have but one K-8 school, and it's one of the highest performing in the white part of town. So, transportation, commitment, anything that has to deal with the district is difficult. So the only, we are trying to get tutors, and we have some high school tutors, but it's not organized. So it's sometimes easier to get paraprofessionals or teachers that want the extra hours to work as tutors or after school help. So I guess my question is, how would this work if we had like a sister, high school? Maybe we're a charter school, we're a public charter school, so we're very independent. We can execute things that we believe in, immediately. So how would it work, considering that, these are kids that are probably in remediation. Now they're taking an extra class and they can't do this during school hours because of the distance and transporting. Do you have any examples?
No, the program is an in-school program during the school day as part of the funds that either through Title I, federal funds, and now we know that COVID monies are being allowed for the program to implement a class during the school day, and using those types of funds. Those funds are also used to help transport the tutors to the elementary campuses. So it is an in-school program during the school day. It's a class where the kids are getting an elective credit course. They're getting paid for it. And they're, in some cases they walk, in some cases they're bused. And we have a lot of campuses that bus their students. It is through federal funds, Title I funds, and nowadays COVID funds and other funds that the school allocates those funds toward those kinds of things.
So the transportation, if it's just 4 hours a week, I just think to find that time during the day in high schools, unless it's like a block schedule, which our high schools don't do. It's a very interesting concept. I don't think the funding is the problem. I think it's the schedule would be the barrier there.
Well, in the high school, we've had no problems with the kids being in a class during the day. They might get bused for 5 or 10 minutes to school and 5 or 10 minutes back, and then they tutor for like 30 or 40 minutes. Yes, okay. We definitely have campuses doing that.
Okay.
There's no doubt about that. Yes, it definitely does work even in that case.
Okay, great. Well, thank you. Thank you for the presentation.
Yes, thank you for joining us. Any other questions? And please contact us and email us if you have any other additional questions. We'd be glad to do that. And just to say that I didn't mention it, there was one last slide that says the program is about $15,000 to implement the program with all of the workbooks, the professional development. We do all of those kinds of things. Any other questions? Anybody else? Sulema or anybody else want to make
it's $15,000 for how many tutors?
Up to 25.
25?
Up to 25 tutors in a classroom. Plus they're each serving 3 students, so that's an additional you know, I forget what the total of that is. There are 75 additional elementary students are being served. So about 100 students are being served per year as part of the program. Plus you get all the tutor workbooks and things like that.
But it includes the training and everything, that it doesn't include the stipends, I would
No,
assume.
the stipend is something that the district also sets funds aside for that purpose. Or they will look for an organization, a partner from their area schools who might want to support the program.
Okay, great, thanks.
But Jerry, where are you from again, Jerry?
I'm from Sarasota. I worked with your equity access group. I've done work with Dr. Johnson, I think is her name, and Aurelio and all that group over there.
Yes,
you can ask Aurelio about me. He knows who we are.
Oh, okay, I will. Thank you.
Sure.
Anybody else have questions? Okay, then we are going to end the session today. And Jerry, we will reach out to you. And Dina, if you had any questions or anything. Sylvia?
I had a question. I'm sorry, I couldn't get to my unmute button. I'm in my car.
Okay.
So if we were interested in getting started and like maybe having you come and speak to the high school or something to that effect, what would be like the next steps for that?
Contact us. We'll set up a date. We either go and you're talking about with like meeting with the principal and meeting with
yes, to like explain the program and like maybe some other district leaders that would be interested in hearing more about it. Maybe like, we're a pretty small district, so we have 2 main high schools. So maybe having both of those principals listen to see how they could like put this in their schedule, and just whatever their questions and next steps would be.
Okay. Well, just contact us. Let us know when would be a good time. It might be a Zoom meeting, or we might be able to go. Where are you from again? Dina?
Sorry, I have to keep finding that button. I'm in North Carolina, so a Zoom meeting would be fine.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay. Well, no, we'd absolutely do it. Just contact us and set it up, and we'll work with you guys.
We put Linda's email in the chat. It's l.cantu@idra.org. And we have like a checklist for getting started at your school and materials for presenting to different groups, that kind of thing. So yeah, Linda can take care of you.
Yes, absolutely. Contact us. We'll set up the Zoom. And we do, as she said, that's getting started at your school. We have a checklist for doing that, things like that. So it helps you and helps your campus help develop how quickly they can put the program together.
Okay, sounds good.
Linda, and can you share the PowerPoint?
Yes, Christy or Michelle?
Yeah. I'll be sending it.
Great.
It'll be a link to it, but yes, because it's a big file.
Wonderful.
No, because that's easier to grab a couple of things and talk to people instead of having them hear the whole recording.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Okay.
Great.
That sounds great.
You.
So thank you for
Linda.
participating us. And I hope to be in touch with you.
Yeah.
That you will be in touch with me. And Sylvia, you didn't make any comments, but.
Thank you for pointing that out. I'm listening. I'm in learning mode. I'm actually typing out that you have a checklist and that I can get in touch with you for some more. We're a foundation in East Texas, and I'll be honest with you. We have school districts here in our area that are looking at ways to engage young people into the teaching profession, and I think this is a really good approach. I would like, I don't know who was speaking before, Jeannie, I think, or I don't remember her name, but I would also like to convene a group of school leaders in East Texas that could maybe listen to this very same presentation, because I think it's all there.
Okay.
And based on that, the way we operate, if they're interested, we might talk about some support from our foundation. I mean, I can't promise that, but because we operate from a board, but definitely this approach would be in line with developing more interest and people to go into the teaching profession, which we know we're in dire need all over the state of Texas, but more so in our little rural communities. And I always tell people this is a great opportunity. I mean, I loved my profession in teaching and think it's a great way for people to step into a good profession and a very noble profession that can help your community. So that's where I'm thinking. So yes, I'm listening.
Okay,
But
well, we'll make sure you get our email so you can contact us. We'll set it up for you or with you. You just let us know. Be glad to do it again.
Thank you, Linda. I also know Hector. We were talking, that's how I got to know about your program. So we will stay in touch.
Okay. Thank you, Sylvia. Anybody else? Jeanette? No? Okay.
I was going to mention for Sylvia that Linda led several of our transition to teaching projects when the Department of Ed had those. And so we, at her leadership, had brought in several hundred new teachers into the profession from other fields. So that background too, but we do have a lot of tutors who see teaching from the other side, and that is where they go. So that's exciting.
And over 35 years, we've had kids become teachers.
And I know a lot of people talk about that, but what draws me to this approach is that you already have it organized. It's organized into a very structured approach. It's not just, whatever. So that's what interests me. So yes, I fully believe that this is a good pathway to lead young people.
Well, we look forward to being in touch with you and working with you.
Okay.
Just let us know as soon as, because I know we're getting toward the close of the year. So
yes, I know.
As soon as possible, just let us know.
I sure will.
Okay. Thank you, Sylvia.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank y'all.
Thank you. Bye-bye.